The massive fraud scandal in Minnesota that captured the media's attention has spurred action across the Trump administration. Of course, that was the underlying fraud that brought the Homeland Security up there that's created what we see all this conflict. It's interesting you compare the Trump administration to the Biden administration. You might recall this. The Biden administration, after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, they wanted a whole of government approach to trying to advance abortion. And they figured out several ways to do it. The Trump administration really has a whole of government response to this corruption and this fraud that's taking place in Minnesota. And what we're finding out is like an onion. It's layer upon layer. Well, last week, the administration announced the creation of a new division in the Justice Department for national fraud enforcement, because it apparently goes beyond the boundaries of the borders of Minnesota. And the Agriculture Department announced its suspension of federal financial awards to Minnesota and Minneapolis. Well, last month, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, sent federal employees into Minneapolis and St. Paul to conduct their own investigation. And what have they found out? Well, joining me now, in just a moment, we're going to be joined by the Secretary of Department of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, to give us an update on what his department has discovered there in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. And we now have him. Secretary Turner, yes, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Tony. So good to be with you, sir. Always. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Now, we were just talking about the investigation that you've launched into Minneapolis and into St. Paul. I realize the investigation is going to take some time, but what can you tell us about your department's efforts on this and what you've found so far?
Yes, sir, Tony. Thank you. So we have boots on the ground in Minnesota. And through our fraud prevention, we have found that there is likely over $84 million in eligible assistance that was given to the state of Minnesota during the Biden administration, including almost $500,000 in improper assistance to over 500 dead tenants. And so you think about that, Tony, over $84 million of hardworking taxpayer money that was shelled out during the Biden administration in improper assistance and serving over 500 dead people with almost $500,000 of assistance. This is a lack of stewardship. It's gross negligence. But I'm grateful at this time that our team on the ground has found these improper payments, and we will hold those accountable that are responsible for this.
Hey, Secretary Turner, when you look at this combined with what was happening in the daycare, I mean, this looks like it's coordinated. It looks like this is a criminal conspiracy. It doesn't just look like people taking advantage of another government program that doesn't have the proper oversight.
No, it is. It seems like it is coordinated, and every stone that's being unturned shows us really the negligence and turning a blind eye and the lack of financial controls and really the lack of caring about the American people and taxpayer money that goes to fund these programs in Minnesota and other places around the country. And so I know under President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, the vice president, who now has announced a new associate attorney general to go after fraud, waste, and abuse in our country. I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to be transparent before the American people and root out this fraud and bring those to justice who have really criminalized the programs that were meant to help American people in need.
What is the connection between this fraud and abuse of taxpayer money and illegal immigration?
Well, as you know, over 12 million people came across our border. Illegal migrants, illegal aliens came across unchecked, which has really caused the housing supply in our country to be squeezed. It's caused the cost of housing to go up. Nearly 100% of the rental demand in states like New York and California is due to illegal immigration. And so this has been a great burden on our country. But I'm thankful to the President, to Secretary Noem, Mr. Holman, and others that have secured our border. Just here at HUD, we found that over 59% of illegal alien families use one or more of our welfare programs here in America, costing about $42 billion a year. And so with that, we have to turn the faucet off and use American taxpayer money to serve the American people and American people only. And we are very intentional and focused on that at HUD as it pertains to housing and the programs that come out of our agency.
Secretary, we just have about 45 seconds left. You've been partnering with the faith community and churches to address homelessness nationwide. Very quickly, tell us about that.
Yes, sir. You know, we want to allow and bring the faith-based organizations back to the table as it pertains to serving our homeless neighbors. During the Biden administration, they really were, quote unquote, stiff-armed and could not come to the table to compete for our Continuum of Care competitive grant. So now we want to open that back up. Faith-based organizations like Our Calling and others around the country are really the ones with boots on the ground serving our homeless neighbors. And we don't want to just house people, Tony. We want to house them, treat the root cause, get them transformed, and back to a life of independence.
Secretary Turner, always great to see you, my friend. I know you've got a special project coming up for the 250th. We'll get you back on to talk about that. Thanks for joining us.